Hello there! This is LEGO Dynasty, and today I'm bringing you guys my thoughts on the upcoming 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars minifigures that has been heavily rumored to be what we're getting this year, which is very exciting. These rumors come from some very reliable leakers that have leaked stuff in the past. So as of now, as you can see by this image, we currently only know two things, and that is that we're supposedly getting a Malik and a Fives. I know this image shows Revan, but we'll clarify that later, as originally it was rumored to be a Revan minifigure, but it is actually going to be a Darth Malik. Now this is going to be very similar to what we saw about 5 years ago with the 20th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, where there was 5 minifigures available in certain sets, and then also a 6th minifigure available for purchase on LEGO.com through a polybag. So very exciting overall. And my purpose of doing this video is to discuss what other figures we perhaps could be getting. So overall, as you can see by this image, from Renown, it is going to be Darth Malik that is coming, which is awesome because we actually haven't gotten him as a LEGO character. We've gotten Darth Malgus, we've gotten Darth Revan, but haven't gotten Darth Malik, so awesome to see another Sith Lord from Knights of the Old Republic. Kind of leads you to wonder if perhaps it was supposed to release alongside the Knights of the Old Republic remake that is up in the air if that is even still a thing. But yeah, my purpose of this video is to talk about my top 10 figures that I personally hope we see in this lineup. Now, at the end of the day, I don't expect us to get that many. I mean, for all we know, we're only getting these two. Supposedly, there's more than the 2 figures, but as of now, we don't know. And for all we know, that has changed, and they're only doing these 2 figures. Or it could all be a sham, which I highly doubt is unlikely. Like, I really think these are strong rumors that we are definitely getting Fives and Malik. And supposedly we're getting more. So I just want to bring up my top 10 figures that I think we should get. At the end of the day, it's my opinion. There's going to be some surprises on my list, I'm sure, that not everyone will agree with. At the end of the day, I don't expect many of my list to actually become figures, but if they do, well, you heard it here first, because I haven't seen many other YouTubers talk about it. Now, there are some figures that I'm not going to mention that I just hope we get as actual LEGO minifigures, such as our Trooper Jesse, as you see this custom one from Minifix for You, who I hope we get in the rumored Captain Rex Y-Bomber set that comes with the cheaper Captain Rex, or even other figures such as a Commander Bly, who I think we should get in a future set to coincide with the release of Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the 20th anniversary of that. I really think we should get him in a set. And same could be said about a character like Commander Bakara, who I think would be awesome to see in summer of 2025 as well. So those are types of figures, clone troopers, that I'm not going to include because I really think we will likely or should get those as figures. Of course, there's a chance we don't, but specifically Jesse and Bly, I really think is a high chance. Maybe Bakara is a bit more out there. And then even some other characters that I'm not going to bring up in this list is like Cal Kestis, because I just think they should make a Mantis set based off of Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. I just think that is a must at this point. You can release it as an 18+ set, and it will sell well. Like, Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order are 2 of the best Star Wars games, and really 2 of the best games of the past, few years overall. Like, really fun games. And lastly, the other figures that I really hope we one day get, and if they were to bring back the minifigure packs, I think could make a lot of sense, is the Mortis gods. Again, not on my top 10 list, but I really would love if they did bring back the minifigure packs, not do it as like an army build standpoint, but as a pack like this with characters that are like unique one-offs, ones you're not going to get in a regular set most likely. But without further ado, let's kick off this top 10 list, starting at number 10. And coming in at number 10 is definitely one that's probably a bit more of a meme, and it is, I would love a remake of Jedi Bob as a figure. Obviously, could be updated, could be with flesh tones, or it could just be very similar with the classic LEGO flesh tones, the yellow hands and yellow face. It doesn't really matter to me. It could just have leg printing or updated chest printing. I just think it would be really fun. Apparently, he got a decent number of votes when the Republic gunship UCS vote was happening, what figures you wanted. Obviously, people wanted the Phase 2 Commander Cody and the Jedi Bob was some of the heavy rumors for the heavy favorites there. In the end, we ended up with Mace Windu and a just regular Phase 1 Clone Commander, which was very disappointing. So I think it would be really fun reference if they put him in a figure selection. Now, coming in at number 10, obviously not going to be upset if he isn't, but I just think it would be really funny if he was one of the figures chosen. Now, coming in at number 9 is a figure that I'm sure a lot of people would love to see, and that is Crosshair in his Bad Batch armor. Obviously, we have Imperial Crosshair, which is an awesome minifigure, don't get me wrong, but it would be great to get Crosshair in his Bad Batch outfit, especially since we obviously didn't get that in the Bad Batch shuttle. It would allow you to sort of complete the Bad Batch group from when they were, serving together as mercenaries. And I think this figure makes a lot of sense to come in something like this, because the chances of them revisiting the original Bad Batch outfits is highly unlikely. I mean, who knows if they're even going to do the Season 2 outfits for the Bad Batch. So I really would love if they went along and did this. As you can see, this is a custom version here. Obviously, wouldn't expect something like this, but would love, the custom face print and generally the torso and helmet print. And I just think it would be really awesome if they did end up doing Crosshair as a figure, because Bad Batch has been a great show, and obviously I know Crosshair turned fairly early on. I do wonder if one day they'll go back and revisit some of the unfinished Clone Wars arcs. I know they said they completed it with the Clone Wars Season 7, but there was a bunch more arcs that they didn't do, and I wonder if once Bad Batch Season 3 is completed, if they are going to go do these singular arcs, perhaps as like mini movies, just to release, sort of like what DC does with their animated film lineup. And I think that can make a lot of sense. Now, moving on to number 8, we have Ekko. Now, I just think it makes a lot of sense. You have Fives coming in a set, and Fives and Ekko, especially in their ARC Trooper outfits, to me are pretty, like referencing each other. I just think it makes a lot of sense to have those two characters, especially like the fact that you're doing a Fives minifigure in this anniversary lineup leads me to believe, the chances of them doing an Ekko in his ARC Trooper outfit, or even his Phase 1 Clone Trooper outfit with the 501st markings could make sense. But obviously, I'm hoping both Fives, and in this case Ekko, would come in their ARC Trooper outfits and use the 2012 ARC Trooper helmet mold, which looks a lot better than the current Phase 2 helmet molds and is a lot more accurate. Obviously, this is another Minifigs for You image of Fives and Ekko, and I think they just, obviously here they look pretty good. I like the addition of the Lego handprint. Personally, I would want them to do the actual 5-pronged handprint on Ekko's chest plate, but wouldn't be too upset if they did it like this. It's kind of a funny reference, I guess, to the Lego hands being shaped the way they are. But yeah, I would love to see Ekko also come in as an anniversary figure if they're doing Fives. Now, number 7 might surprise some people, but I think, we haven't gotten this character, and it's Boss Nass. This is an image from him in Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and I just think, he has a chance of coming in a Phantom Menace set in the future, but why not just throw him in here? Again, I'm putting him at number 7, so I'm not going to be super upset if he isn't, but it's just a figure we haven't gone in Lego, and I just think he makes a lot of sense as a figure that we haven't gotten, basically. Overall, though, it's going to come up down to what Lego thinks is more important, but for an unused figure, figures that we haven't gotten, he just stuck out to me, and that's why I decided to place him here. Now, coming in at number 6, and this one is probably going to be my first major surprise in my opinion, and that's Dr. Aphra. And the reason I'm choosing Dr. Aphra is, obviously, she's primarily a comics character, so maybe not a lot of people know about her, but from what I can understand, she is seemingly a pretty popular character, and I just think it'd be kind of cool to see Lego delve into something, because unless this character appears in some sort of medium, we're probably never going to get it as a Lego figure in an official Lego set. So why not reference some of these other things from these other mediums that Lego wouldn't typically do, and I think she makes a lot of sense as a potential Lego figure. Just something, again, that like, yeah, they could definitely do in a Lego set, like they did a Ray Sloan figure, for instance. Here's a custom version of one that I found online, just to show what it could potentially look like. Obviously, it doesn't have to be this version of her character. They could definitely do something a little bit different, but just to show you what they could do with the arm and leg printing, dual molded legs. Probably would just use a regular current helmet mold, wouldn't make them a new one. But overall, I think it's just a unique character that I think would be kind of cool to get, especially in a one-off scenario here. Coming in at number 5, and this isn't really like an official figure, but I just would love to see some sort of Lego ghost character, whether it's Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Qui-Gon Jinn. Like I just would love to see some sort of Lego ghost character as an official Lego minifigure. As you can see here, we have Lego Yoda, Lego Obi-Wan, and Lego Anakin there, which I think looks pretty cool. And basically, it would just be translucent characters. Now, the main reason I don't think they've done this yet comes down to the printing onto the bodies. We know they've done things, or have prototype figures of them in these sort of translucent colors, which I'll show off again in a moment. And I just think it makes, even in that scenario, where if it was just like that, I don't think it needs this printing where you can see the torso print personally. Some people, it might be a deal breaker if it has it or not. Now, of course, there was the rumored piece that was actually faked for the Force Ghost, which personally I didn't hate. Like, a lot of people hated it. I thought it made a lot of sense personally. Like, I thought it captured the look quite well and was a usable piece elsewhere. So I can't remember who made it. It was faked on Reddit, but I personally really liked that. I think I was one of the only people that did. Definitely would prefer a minifigure, but if they did decide to do this, not as obviously as a part of this anniversary lineup, because I mean that would be kind of lame if they just gave you a Qui-Gon Jinn with this part over. But if that's where they went down the line, I personally am not against it. But let me hear your thoughts on this part. Like I said, this was faked. It's not an official Lego part whatsoever, but it still interests me. Now, to show you again what I mean by the prototypes, you have this glitter Darth Vader, for instance, that is like printed or made at the Lego factories. There's some other ones I'll show off. So they definitely have the ability to do something similar with these prototypes, and these prototypes have become very popular. Like they're selling for like $30 a pop. Like they're a very popular item in the Lego community, it seems. For those that know about them, at least. And I think just releasing some of them as in an official capacity would make a lot of sense, because they're already being made. Whether or not it's by Lego's permission or not, I guess is still unknown. I mean, at this point, I feel like they have to know about it, and they would have shut it down if they cared that much. I mean, they're making a little bit of profit from the ones sold on Bricklink and whatnot, so perhaps they're making entirely profit and it's all by them. But that's the conspiracy theory in my mind. But to show off what I think it could look like, this is a clone version in translucent. Obviously not perfect without the torso print, but I think it still gets the idea across. And it, like, you can't tell me that doesn't look pretty cool. Like, even if it was just the hologram version, like I guess it didn't have to be a Force Ghost. It could just be a hologram of a Jedi Master or a clone trooper to represent Order 66, or of Emperor Palpatine ordering Order 66, etc. Like, I think the possibilities are endless. I just love to see something like this with the translucent elements that we've seen in some of these aspects, pop up through Bricklink, Mercari, and other sites as these have leaked out of the Mexico factory, whether it's by Lego's design or not. Now, coming in at number 4, and this is a figure that a lot of people would love to see in a Dex's Diner, obviously Dexter Jester. Personally, I just strongly doubt we'll ever get a Dex's Diner. but I would love to see a Dexter Jester minifigure. We obviously know they've done a similar mold with Ponkrell. Would really just have to slightly reprint aspects of that piece, but I think overall it would work fine. And I really think this is a figure that they could absolutely do. Like we saw with the Skywalker saga, that was incorporated Captain Rex before we got him in a Lego figure. Like, there's, to me, a very real possibility Dexter Jester is one of the figures. I mean, I guess we won't know until we know, but I really wouldn't be surprised if he is one of the figures, just because, like, they obviously designed him for the game, and it just seems logical that they might have incorporated it, because it's clear that Lego handed their design to the developers of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga for Captain Rex. Very real possibility they did it for Dexter Jester, and they were just waiting for something to put him in, whether as a polybag or in this case as a throw-in in an anniversary figure. So this is one of the figures that I'm almost confident, or maybe I'm too confident that we could get him as a figure. And maybe I'm reading too much into, a video game, him being included, when obviously he should have been included. And a lot of Lego Star Wars games have had characters that we've never gotten. I mean, Boss Nass included, obviously, and then some other characters on this list as well. But overall, like I said, would love to see him as one of the figures that we get. Now, this next figure is definitely going to surprise some, as it shows some love to the sequel era, and that's Commander Pyre. And I just think this guy looks absolutely awesome. Like, he goes quite well with with Phasma, and I think just getting Commander Pyre with the gold armor just would be really, really awesome. And I assume they still have the First Order molds. They're going to have to revisit the sequel era eventually, just like how the prequels had kids that enjoyed them. There's kids that like the sequel movies. Personally, there's elements of the sequels that I really dislike. There's elements of the sequels that I really like. And obviously this character specifically appeared in Star Wars Resistance, didn't appear in the films. But even in that case, I still think he's just an awesome looking character, and would be a real surprise if they went down this direction to include him. Now, I did also consider Captain Cardinal, who's very similar, but he's in red. But I figured, you can kind of make him out of the Sith Trooper armor, essentially. So maybe he doesn't make enough sense to, I don't think he's different enough to be considered special versus doing some sort of goldish First Order officer like Captain or Commander Pyre would be. And just to show off what I think he could look like, here's a custom that I found online from, I believe, Winter Twined. And it just looks really cool, right? Like, just imagine that as a Lego figure with, obviously the cloth camo there. And I think it could be a really popular figure if they went in this direction, and would definitely be a surprise if they did go in this direction. So this is definitely one that I would personally love to see. And let me know your thoughts. Am I out to lunch for requesting a sequel era character or not? Just let me know your guys' thoughts on that in the comments below. But now let's move on to number 2. So coming in at number 2 is a figure that I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree with me on, and that's Yaddle. Again, another one where I'm showing a reference from Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Obviously, we saw her in the Tales of the Jedi arc, where she unfortunately meets her end, but obviously makes a lot of sense since we don't see her in Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. But overall, I think this character would make a lot of sense for something like this, because the chances of us getting a Yaddle minifigure in a set is slim to none. Going back onto the, minifigure packs, if they brought those back, which I really think they should, maybe they would do a Tales of the Jedi minifigure pack with a young Count Dooku, a young Qui-Gon, and a Yaddle minifigure, or one of the early Separatist officers, just something really cool in that sense. But overall, I think that even if they did return to minifigure packs, I think that option is very low as well of happening. But in saying that, I just would really love to see them return to a figure like this and release this, since I just think she would be really cool to get. Just a really unique figure that you wouldn't expect them to ever make. And yeah, that basically all comes down to with Yaddle. Now, coming in at number 1, and admittedly, like, I'm putting him at number 1, but because I just think it would be really kind of nice reference, is George Lucas as an official Lego figure. Now, admittedly, again, George would probably have to sign off on his likeness being used, so maybe me putting him at number 1 doesn't make a lot of sense. But I just think, referencing George, who obviously created Star Wars, signed the deal to bring Lego to Star Wars, way back when in 1999, and now Lego and Star Wars is so synonymous with each other. Lego being, or Lego Star Wars being the flagship brand of Lego, in my opinion, and I mean its sales definitely don't dispute that, in my opinion. I just think it would be really cool. Now, this particular figure was given to, I believe, Lego designers. There's a lot of fakes of it out there now, selling for way too high, unfortunately. So I personally would love to see a different version used, which in this case would be from, I'm pulling this image from, I believe it's the Yoda Chronicles Lego movie from like 2010, 2011, where it's George with his red shirt, and I just think would make a lot of sense, would be a lot of fun if they did make him as a figure and included him in these sets. But really, that's just my opinion. Like, maybe there's some other figures from the films that people would want more. But really, at the end of the day, that's all my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Are there any figures that I missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you have enjoyed. And have a great day, everyone.